Hello, everyone. And my name is Phuoc. You can call me Phuoc. And please allow me to begin with a quote. You only live one. Yes, of course, because if I could live twice, I'd spend the first one making more mistakes. But in this time, I must live for the right reason. To love, to learn, to grow, and to find meaning, not to success. Because both education and life as you respond, I mean difficulty, that kind of pass our flexibility. And picking up storm, have you ever wondered why is the bamboo so thin, so simple, that can survive storm, but even big tree cannot? And my speak today will be the answer for this question. Purely agriculture, three siblings, a rural area. That exactly where I was born and raised in the rural corner of Haiphong, in a small farming family of three siblings. Life there was simple, sometimes harsh, but it taught me early on how to stay strong with changes, just like every generation before me had done. And that spirit has followed me until this day. When storm come, people in my hometown don't fight them head on. They learn to bend, to adapt, and then quietly rise again. And perhaps what a true resilience really means. And as I grew older and stepped into university, I began to ask myself, in a fast-changing world, how can young people like us stay rooted like the bamboo, so flexible enough to adapt, yet so resilient enough to stand tall? That's why I wanted to share my own journey, a journey of learning, falling, and redefining myself through education. Because I do believe that for both individual and the system we belong to, true progress begins when we dare to define the value of learning and what learning really means in society. And we are living in an era of unprecedented shifts. AI, technology, and other factors in society are changing everything, changing every profession, forcing us to relearn how to learn. From the 2018 General Education Program to the digital transformation in education, Vietnam is striving to realize long-term vision, shifting from the teaching literacy to developing competency, and also integrating technology, psychology, and critical thinking into every classroom nationwide. However, under these slogans of innovation, again, remain. How teachers are caught between traditional model, traditional lesson plans, and the digital lesson plans, while students are skillful and confused. The new demand of the new era, where grades are no longer the only lifeboat that save them. And I, too, were once lost in that gap. In my first year at the DAV, the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam, I achieved that. The very first scholarship that made me realize that, wow, I'm good. I still remember the rush of excitement and pride. And for a moment, I truly believed that, wow, as if the world had opened a new door just for me, as if I were on the right track to achieve my ambitions. I were on the right track, on the right way to gain new accomplishments. But no, I'm wrong. It did not work. And for a moment, the very moment of joy was quickly shadowed by a subtony. I began to illusion myself that achievement alone would be the only measure of self-worth. Have you ever wondered why we are here, and you wonder that how have you ever wondered chasing one goal after another, yet feeling extremely empty inside? That's what me. I threw myself into the certificates, projects, and money, thinking that was success in the new era. But the more I focused on scores and external validation and certificates, the more I felt an emptiness growing inside. That truly a gap between knowing a lot and truly understanding myself. 2 semesters of decline and losing my scholarship made me realize an education not only teaches you how to climb the ladder, but don't show you the way will inevitably lead to a fall. One day, in a philosophy class, my lecturer, Nguyen, who I deeply respect, said something that made me speechless. Wow. Look, cherish the past, trust the present, and hope for the future. Wow. That phrase seemed simple, but opened the new different doors for me. I began to trust myself, to cherish my path, my own path, not of the tribe coming from the family background, not of all the discipline and the effort that the old education had taught me. I learned and I mastered the present, that change is inevitable, and only by daring to adapt could I survive. And above all, I hope for the future, a future where education is not about imparting knowledge, but about evoking meaning in life and the capacity for creativity. Yes, that's very full helped me to reconsider my path. I learned to start over, to study for understanding, not just for achievement anymore. And this year, I achieved that. The perfect 4/4 GPA, ranking the first in my faculty. But what truly mattered wasn't the number on the transcript, but it was clarity that came with it. I learned to see learning not as a race to win, but as a process of becoming, of understanding myself, my limits, and my purpose. I must learn I no longer study to impress anyone or chase grades. I learn for myself, for the person I want to be, and for the future I hope to create. And because of that, true progress and achievement came to me, not just on paper, but in the way I saw my own journey and my own growth. That's where it resonates with all of us being here. We can all reflect on our own past, the lessons we've learned, the challenges we face. We can begin to trust the present, to embrace change, and hope for the future, where learning goes beyond achievement or grades. Even when we stumble, those moments help us to reconsider our past. And as we grow, we celebrate milestone, not merely a victory, a personal victory, but victories in our shared journey to redefine the value of learning and what learning really means. My failure was not just a personal story, but it reflects a symptom of a system struggling between two worlds, traditional model and the new demand of the new era. Therefore, I believe we need a fundamental redefinition of education for educator, from knowledge transmitter to learning experience designer. Teachers are no longer the destination of knowledge, but the guide, facilitators who create a safe environment so that students can trust, can dare to experiment and fail. Just like my lecturer, this student, she didn't give me the answer, but she gave me a philosophy to find my own journey, to find my own answer. And for learners, from passive recipients to active co-creators. I mean, we cannot sit and learn and wait to be what you taught. We must proactively create our own orientation. And my orientation is basically based on a philosophy that became our identity at the DAV. The bamboo diplomacy of the late general of the late general the bamboo diplomacy philosophy of the late General Secretary Nguyen, with firm roots of character, of culture, and Vietnamese identity, with steady chunk of competence, of problem-solving skills, and critical thinking, with flexible practice and leadership skills, being flexible, creative, and globally integrated. I realized just like the bamboo, only when we understand our sturdy trunk, keep our firm roots, and know how to stretch our flexible branches and leaves, could we survive any storms and the upheaval of the time of the world. And before I end, I want to ask you one last question. If our system were bamboo love, what kind of bamboo would you like to be? Long? Short? Lean? I still remember the bamboo hatches of my village. No two trees were alike, but overall, they create a solid and robust home. Some too straight, some lean, some were tall, some were short and round, but all had value in the picture. Our education should be the same. We don't need to produce people with the same identity, with the same modes. Let each young person be a unique bamboo tree, able to rise high in the roadway, while still keeping our firm roots of character, sturdy chunk of competence, and the flexible friendships and belief of skills. Together, we will build a resilient Vietnamese bamboo forest, not just to exist, but to shine. We can stand ready to any upheaval of the time. And once again, cherish the past, just the present, and hope for the future. Thank you.